Have you noticed how everyone feels distant? As if the more awake you become, the more people exhaust you? Carl Jung believed this isn't loneliness, it's initiation. It's the moment your soul begins to shift, when the masks of the world no longer fit, and every small talk feels like noise in a dream. You're not broken, you're crossing into a deeper reality. Stay and I'll show you the shadowed path Jung warned about, the one you've already stepped on without realizing. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, not the mirror that reflects your face, but one that reflects the hidden landscapes of your soul. At first glance, it shows you who you've always believed you are, your roles, your personality, the carefully polished persona that society applauds. But if you stare long enough, the mirror shifts. It darkens. And from behind your own reflection, you see something watching. Something older, quieter, and infinitely more real. Jung called this the shadow. Most people never meet it because they are too busy avoiding silence, too busy drowning themselves in the constant chatter of the world. But you lately have felt the fatigue. You have started to notice that being around people no longer feels like connection, but like noise. This is not depression. This is the first whisper of awakening. You've begun to sense the thin veil between the outer world and your inner truth. The conversations that once felt important, about work, about trends, about nothing, now drain you. Jung would say this happens because your unconscious is knocking. It's asking, what are you really here for? When this question echoes, the shallow parts of life start to dissolve. You feel isolated, but that isolation is a gift. It's the forest you must walk alone. Picture this forest. It's dusk and the trees are tall, almost ancient, their roots twisting like veins into the earth. You walk deeper, the sounds of the city fading behind you. With every step, you feel the weight of other people's expectations falling away. At first, you think something is wrong, that maybe you've become cold or withdrawn. But this is not withdrawal, this is transformation. Your energy is shifting inward. You're no longer seeking validation from others because you are beginning to hear the quiet voice of your own soul. This voice is not loud, not clear. It speaks in dreams, in sudden feelings, in images that appear when you close your eyes. Jung believed that these moments, when you feel tired of the world and all its masks, are signals that you are entering individuation. It's the process of becoming who you truly are, beyond your persona, beyond the false identities you've worn like armor. You see, society rewards persona, the polite face you show at parties, the competent mask you wear at work. But persona is not the full truth. Beneath it lies the shadow, everything you've repressed, everything you've denied, the parts of you that are raw and wild. Awakening often begins when the shadow starts to rise and you feel it in your bones. People who once felt close now feel like strangers. Why? Because your old self was built to fit in, to belong. But awakening is not about belonging, it's about becoming whole. Have you noticed your dreams lately? Maybe they are darker, stranger, filled with symbols you can't quite explain. A black wolf standing under the moonlight, a broken clock, a door you can't open. Jung believed dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. They are messages from the parts of yourself you've ignored. When you feel exhausted by people, it's often because you've spent too much energy maintaining your mask, and now your soul is asking you to rest, to listen. This exhaustion is sacred. It's the silence before the breakthrough. It's like standing on the edge of a deep lake at night, seeing your reflection shimmer under the stars and realizing, for the first time, that the surface is not the end. You can go deeper. You can dive. But to dive is to leave behind the noise of the shore. The reason awakening makes you tired of people is that you are starting to sense their masks too. You see the way they hide their pain, the way they chase distractions, and it feels heavy because you no longer want to play the same game. Jung would call this a confrontation with the collective shadow, the parts of society that remain unexamined, toxic, shallow. And when you see it, you can't unsee it. But there is beauty here too. The shadow is not just darkness. It's the seed of your potential, the raw material for your authenticity. When you face it, you find energy you never knew you had. You find truth. You find a kind of love. Not the shallow love of approval, but the deep love of knowing yourself fully. As you stand at the threshold of this deeper shift, you might feel like the forest around you is growing darker. But this darkness is not your enemy. It is the womb of transformation. Stay with me, and in the next chapter we will walk deeper into this shadowed path, and I will show you how to embrace it, how to let this exhaustion become your guide, not your curse. You walk deeper into the forest. The path narrows and the air grows colder, but it feels almost sacred, as if the silence itself is breathing with you. Every step takes you further from the noise of the world and closer to something raw, something ancient. Carl Jung once said that people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. And this is why awakening feels lonely, because you are no longer running. You are turning inward, and in that inward turn, you meet the parts of yourself you have buried for years. There is a clearing ahead, a circle of moonlight surrounded by shadows. You stop there, and for the first time you feel it, the weight of your own presence. No friends, no conversations, no roles. Just you. And perhaps this is why you feel tired of people. It's not that you hate them. It's that their chatter reminds you of the false layers you are now shedding. When you awaken, you begin to crave authenticity like a starving soul craves real food. And small talk, empty connections, and shallow validation feel like eating dust. Jung described individuation as a process of integrating the shadow, bringing into light what was once hidden. This is not comfortable. It's like watching your old self dissolve in front of your eyes. The ambitions that once drove you, they no longer make sense. The roles you played to win love or approval, they now feel like a cage. And yet, without these old structures, you feel exposed, like standing naked in the middle of that moonlit clearing. Maybe you felt this, the sudden urge to withdraw from the world, to say no to invitations, to spend hours alone, staring at a blank page or simply watching the patterns of light on your walls. This isn't laziness or antisocial behavior. This is your soul pulling you back into the depth of your own being, asking you to listen to what hurts, what longs, what was silenced. In this phase, you might feel anger rising, at people who seem fake, at the world's endless noise. But this anger is not random. It's the shadow trying to speak. The shadow carries all the emotions you've been taught to suppress. Anger, grief, longing, fear, even wild joy. To awaken is to let these feelings surface and learn to hold them without shame. Jung believed that wholeness doesn't come from rejecting the shadow but from embracing it, integrating it, understanding that your darkness is not your enemy but your teacher. Picture this, a dark river flowing through the forest. Its water is thick, almost black, but as you look closer, you see your reflection shimmering on its surface. Not just your face, but the child you once were, the dreams you've abandoned, the wounds you've tried to forget. This river is the unconscious. It holds everything you've ever felt but never faced. And now, in this shadow phase, the river calls you. The question is, will you dare to step into its cold waters? Many people turn away. They go back to the noise, back to distractions, because facing the shadow means facing truth. The truth that much of what we call happiness is just an escape. But you're still here listening. That means a part of you knows this journey is necessary. That the exhaustion you feel around people is simply the soul's way of saying, stop. Look inward. The answers you're seeking won't come from the crowd. Jung wrote that the meeting with the shadow is like meeting a stranger who has lived inside you all along. At first, it can feel threatening. You see all the parts of yourself you never wanted to see, the envy, the shame, the untamed impulses. But if you look deeper, you'll find that the shadow is also the source of your creativity, your intuition, your true power. It's like finding a locked room inside your own house, a room full of forgotten treasures covered in dust. This is why solitude becomes sacred during awakening. It's not isolation, it's incubation. The tiredness you feel around others is not a sign of weakness but of redirection. Your energy is shifting inward, gathering strength for something greater, the emergence of your true self. You're no longer trying to fit in because you're beginning to realize you were never meant to. Your path is not about blending with the crowd. It's about carving your own way through the forest. Perhaps you've noticed changes in your dreams. They become more vivid, more symbolic. Jung believed that when we enter this deeper shift, the unconscious speaks more loudly. You might dream of fire, burning away what no longer serves you. You might dream of doors, some locked, some opening onto landscapes you don't yet understand. Pay attention. These dreams are not random. They are maps, guiding you through the dark forest of your psyche. In this shadow phase, you will also feel tested. The people around you might not understand. They might say you've changed, and they're right. The version of you they knew is dissolving. This can feel painful because part of awakening is mourning who you used to be. But grief is not the end. It's the bridge. Every tear you shed is washing away a layer of illusion, clearing the path for something real. And here's the truth Jung wanted us to see. You are not broken for feeling tired of people. You are being reforged. Think of gold. Before it becomes pure, it must be melted down in fire. You are in that fire now. The heat of solitude, the weight of introspection. These are not punishments. They are alchemy. You are being reshaped, turned into something stronger, truer, more luminous. Sometimes, in the quiet of the night, when everyone else is asleep, you might feel a presence, not outside of you, but within. A whisper that says, keep going. This loneliness is not forever. It's the doorway to connection of a deeper kind, not with masks, but with souls. Jung believed that only when we meet ourselves fully can we truly meet others. And so, this shadow phase is not the end of relationships. It's the beginning of authentic ones. Let me leave you with this image. You are standing on the edge of the forest now, looking back at the path you've walked. The noise of the world is still there, but it feels distant, like an echo. In front of you, the sky is opening, and the first light of dawn touches the trees. You realize something profound, that every moment of exhaustion, every step of solitude has brought you closer to yourself. And this, perhaps, is the ultimate purpose of awakening. Not to escape the world, but to return to it with new eyes. Eyes that can see truth, beauty, and depth where before there was only surface. This journey is not over. The shadow phase is only one part of the spiral, but it's the part that breaks you open, that makes you real. So, if you feel tired of people, take it as a sacred sign. The forest is calling. Your soul is asking you to come home.